St. James Court Art Show is nationally renowned, and it's a rite of passage. It's a rite of fall. But if you live here in the community, or if you're a Louisvillian, it's extra special. Welcome to Louisville Focus. Without a doubt, it is one of the most anticipated events in Louisville. It's a rite of fall. It is the St. James Court Art Show, and it is happening once again down here in St. James Court. With me now is Howard Rosenberg. He's the executive director. First of all, Howard, you can't beat the backdrop. This beautiful fountain is unbelievable.
This is incredible.
So let's talk about the magnitude of this event. It's obvious by the crowd. People love this event. With that being said, it's a monster. It's huge. Talk about numbers a little bit.
Well, we anticipate around 250,000 people. And we actually did a head count several years ago. So we know we're pretty accurate. If the weather's this good, we could exceed that. So it's a pretty incredible event. And it's grown over the years, obviously.
Howard, I think you would agree. There's something to be said for being able to be personal, face-to-face, one-on-one with the artist. I think that's a lot of the allure. How many artists are we talking about, and why is this one of their favorite art shows in America?
Well, we have about 650 artists. I've given a lot of thought to why this show has grown to the point that it has. It's one of the top art shows in the country. And I think the reason is that at some point in the past, a decision was made to focus on the artists, that the artist came first. And the more we treat the artist as family, the better, and that sounds kind of hokey, the better experience they have, and they talk to one another throughout the country. So we're an artist-friendly show, and we have some of the finest artists in the country.
No question about it. So tell me about some of the history. Obviously, an art show of this magnitude, this size, doesn't start this way.
No.
Tell me a little bit about the history, Howard.
Well, the history is kind of unique. So many, many years ago, the fountain that you see here was in disrepair. It was actually held up by wooden poles. And the fountain needed to be fixed. Malcolm Byrd was chairman of the St. James Court Association. So he, and this is true, over a cup of coffee with a woman named Ethel DuPont down the street here, decided how are we going to get the money? And they figured there were artists living on the court. So Malcolm said, look, let's have an art show. Strung a clothesline, and I think it was 15 to 20 artists participated. They made $140, and that started it. And Malcolm was asked later, how did this thing continue? Because I asked his nephew, Mark Byrd, who did a lot of the art prints for this show, why? And his response was, Malcolm said, mutual unvoiced consent. Nobody ever said do it, but nobody ever said don't do it. So they just kept on doing it.
Oh, that sounds like permission to me, and obviously a great cause. So with that being said, talk a little bit about the relationship of the people who live in the court, the people who live in the surrounding area, and this art show.
Well, there's 6 sections, so it represents 4th Street, 3rd Street, 1300 block of 3rd Street, Belgravia Court, West End Baptist Church, and St. James. The relationship is really unique. I had a consortium of all these different neighborhoods. Each of the different sections has its own personality, but the neighborhood, all the organizations are 501c3 or 501c4 charitable organizations. So anything that the art show makes goes back into the neighborhood. The upkeep of this fountain, the greens, the lights on 3rd Street, the gas lights, the lights on 4th Street, all of this is paid for because of the art show.
Wow. That's a reward within itself. So I'm curious from a personal perspective, Howard, you're the executive director. Obviously this means something to you. You have a great deal of passion about the event. What do you look forward to most? What do you like?
For me, there's a great team that puts this on. So each of the sections has a director, St. James has a director. We have somebody that works solely with the artist. For me, I'm retired. I've been in the neighborhood since the 80s. For me, it's just the opportunity, one, to give back, but also to see that this area on Monday is a neighborhood. On Friday, it's an art show. On Monday, it's going to be a neighborhood again. So it's just the putting the pieces together and seeing it become what it is, and then seeing it go back to what it is also.
On behalf of the city of Louisville, I want to thank you for not only putting this on and giving us something to enjoy during the beginning of fall, but also for your commitment to helping out the neighborhood, the community, and others. So thank you, and congratulations on your success.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been a blast. All right, once again, it's Howard Rosenberg, and of course, he is the executive director. There's a lot of moving parts, but when it comes down to it, it's all about the art. Let's meet one of the artists. There's a lot of talent that comes out of Louisville, Kentucky, and with me now is a local artist who has national talent. He is Tim Lee, who is here at the St. James Court Art Fair. And hey, Tim, first of all, thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about the medium you use and a little bit about your art, if you would, Tim.
Well, it's pencil and colored pencil. As you can tell, I'm kind of a sports guy, so that's kind of where I lean to. I like the longer kind of the format, but I do anything that really comes to mind. But for the most part, it's a lot of sports stuff.
You know, I see Cincinnati Reds here. I see, you know, Roger Staubach, the Dallas Cowboys. Some of this artwork is really kind of nostalgic. Do you find that people come in here and they go, oh, I remember this,
Yes.
or what a great memory? Talk about the personal attachment people have to your art.
Yes, I get a lot of people that come in and see. I'm an older guy too, so I can relate to those older sports heroes. So I get a lot of folks that come in and look at this stuff and go, oh, I can remember when. It's an appealing thing to them.
I've got to tell you, I'm so impressed with your talent, because to me it's really hard sometimes to capture like horses, or to capture action in sports, or the intensity of Sparky Anderson talking to his pitcher. Those kind of things are tough. How long does a piece like this take? Let's say the Cincinnati Reds picture. How much work is involved here, Tim?
So I get asked that quite a bit, and this is a hobby of mine. I got a daytime gig, so to really keep track of all the hours, it would be hard to do. So if I were to guess, it would probably maybe take 40 to 50 hours of drawing to do.
Some of your favorite subject matter. Tell me about that. I mean, you said sports. Is there one in particular? I noticed, I see something local here, a St. Xavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you a St. X grad?
I am not, but that's a big popular piece. If you look in there, you can see some tiger eyes, and I get a lot of alumni that come and really like that.
Yeah, it's nice that you can capture the passion as well as the accuracy of the logo. So yes, I could see the allure of that piece specifically. Speaking of allure, okay, you go to other art shows around the country, you participate. This one is probably special for you. Here at St. James, here in Louisville, Kentucky, talk about that attachment that you have, personal attachment.
Well, because it is local is what makes it so special. There are a lot of folks that come in around the country, you know, from Pennsylvania, from Florida. There's a guy from California. What makes it very special for me is I can get out of my bed in the morning and come down here and set up my stuff. And I get a lot of folks to come in and say, where are you from? Where are you from? And it's right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It's like, oh, well, that's great. And that's really a special thing.
If you had some advice to give, maybe we have someone who's young or a parent who has a talented youngster, a boy or girl who loves art, what advice would you give them if they wanted to pursue it to this level?
Just keep at it, you know, just keep at it. I don't know if it's something that you can be taught to do. It's just you either have the talent or you don't have the talent, and you've got to love it and you got to work at it. It's like anything else. The more you practice, the better you get.
Well, Tim Lee, I can say this with all authenticity, you, my friend, have the talent.
Well,
so
thank you.
Congratulations to you. Thank you for spending a little time with us.
Oh, I appreciate you coming by.
Once again, artist Tim Lee, who is one of the featured artists here and local talent at the St. James Court Art Show. Because we all receive so much personal enjoyment from the St. James Court Art Show, it's hard to understand that it really is all about the neighborhoods. With me now is Dulcie Gurley. And Dulcie, you're the section director, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the neighborhoods involved and exactly how it works, who benefits. Tell me about that.
Yeah, of course. So the St. James Court Art Show is actually made up of different neighborhood associations in different sections. So you're standing right now in St. James Court section with our beautiful fountain, but there's also the 4th Street section, the 3rd Street section. There's Belgravia, which runs along St. James, and the 1300 Block Association.
So when I come here and my friends come here, sometimes we have our favorite artists and people that we look for or places to meet, like we'll say, meet at the fountain or meet over there by where they serve the beer, which is one of my favorites. But with that being said, there is a method to the madness about where artists are located. You're the section director, you're the right person to ask. Tell me about it.
So every artist kind of has their own preference on what they think best benefits them to sell their art. Some of them want a great view of this fountain because they know it brings people in. Some want to be near food because they know that brings people in. Some like to be in the center because they know that the new artists are in the center. And so when people are looking for new art, that's where they're going to head. So
Interesting. So there is, okay. Obviously, there's national talent here.
Yeah.
Local artists, they're invited as well. How does that work?
yeah, so there's definitely a few amazing local artists. Basically, any artist that wants to apply applies for the show, and then they have to be juried in. So their art is reviewed and picked because we have the best of the best here. It's a prestigious art show. So some people are local, some people are national. It's just the best of the best.
It is the best of the best. Yeah, Dulcie, let's talk a little bit about that because I brag to my friends who are from out of town and maybe haven't experienced what we have here at St. James Court Art Show. They haven't experienced. So how do we measure up? I know they have a huge one in Santa Fe, Albuquerque. We can go on and on about the different cities who have one of these, but how do we measure up to compared to others?
Yeah, so we actually were just ranked in the top 3 art shows in the country by Sunshine Magazine. So we're really proud of that, and we think our show is great.
I think it is as well. Dulcie, thanks for all you do. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, thank you.
So once again, it not only is personal, and I know everyone loves the art show, it not only benefits us all personally, it also benefits the neighborhoods, and it's such an experience. You've got to come on out, make it a trip, invite your friends to the St. James Court Art Show. A big part of the experience at the St. James Court Art Fair is the total amazement that you feel when you see beautiful art. With me now is Thomas Legault, and I have to tell you, I am astonished about not only how beautiful, but how effortlessly he paints. Thomas, welcome back to St. James Art Show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Okay, so from what I understand, this is not your first art show here at St. James. How many years have you been coming?
This is year 31.
31.
Yeah, I went
Okay.
back.
Tell me a little bit about your art. I am truly amazed because you take nature and enhance God's work. It seems to me that, yes, it's very realistic, but you make it even more vibrant. Tell me about your work.
Well, I'm punching up some of the colors that we see in nature, and I do try to imitate some of the things that I see on walks or when I go out photographing. These are acrylic on canvas, and the basic tools that I use are painting knives for some of the pieces, and this is a brush, a fan brush, and some of the small rigging brushes for the fine work for the branches.
I'm always amazed, Thomas, by people like you, the level of talent. Where did it all start? Was it something when you were a child you said, okay, I have a natural ability here, your parents may have recognized her, or was it something that maybe developed as you grew older?
Well, my sister dragged me into a painting class when I was 13, not because she wanted me, but because they needed so many kids. And I started painting paintings that first night. So this is my 54th year of painting paintings and supporting the family with the artwork, with the paintings.
The subject matter that you choose, obviously nature, but there's such a variety here. I see the ocean depicted over here, these barnyard scenes.
Yeah.
They're absolutely beautiful. Do you go out, Thomas, and look for sites like this and then sit down and just start going at it?
Yeah, I normally go out and photograph, and then I'll take those reference materials and study them, and I'll leave out certain things and enhance other parts of it just to punch it up a little bit.
It's probably obvious for you in this short conversation that I'm a novice, but am I wrong in saying there is a part of it, your work that it reminds me of Van Gogh?
Kind of a loose, yeah, it's taking a tight subject matter from a photo and then loosening it up with some of the brushes and the knife work.
When you say loosening it up, help me out with that.
Well, instead of it being photographic or photorealism, it has a style of its own, which would be like some of the Impressionism pieces, especially like on some of the florals or some of the abstract boat scenes that I do. It's a little twist on it and it gives it a little looser feel, but it maintains some of the same colors and values that we see.
Thomas, I'm curious about your clientele. Do you have people who come in and say, look, I have this beautiful landscape at my home, or I go on vacation at a certain location, can you paint it for me? I want that on my wall. Does that happen?
It does, and I'm up in the resort areas during the summer months. I'm up in Charlevoix, Michigan, and so much of the people come from California, Texas, from all over. The weather's supposedly the best for the summer months, and so they're up there, but it's some of the subject matter that I enjoy. But the barns, I do shows all over the country, and there's always a need to find some good reference materials. I like the older subjects. This reminds me of a quieter time and maybe not so revved up.
It does take you back to standing in front of a barn, a beautiful sunset, and you look and you go, wow, this is just amazing. You make this look, and I've said it twice now in this interview, effortless. Tell us what you're doing now.
Well, I'm trying to outrun the shake that I have because I had maybe a little bit too much coffee, but it seems to be working so far.
Amazing, yeah. Absolutely beautiful. Is there somewhat of a club, a fraternity here when you go to art shows like the St. James Court Art Show? People that you know, that you reconnect with?
This is the best show of the year for most artists. We enjoy coming here and having fellowship, but we enjoy the public. It's just a positive experience. We have all the buildings. I was out photographing yesterday, so I'll work up some of those when I get the photos back. So yeah, this is just a positive experience all the way around.
Okay, Thomas, I hate to be repetitive here, but I think you said this was your favorite art show, correct?
That's true.
And how many do you travel?
I'm traveling probably to about 44 shows a year.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I move around, but this is not just for me, from my friends, they say the same thing. I got introduced to this show 31 years ago when my friend said, Tom, you really enjoy people. The nicest group of people you'll ever meet is at the St. James Court Show. You really need to look into doing it. And we started doing it, and this is year 31, so he proved to be true.
Well, I've got to give you credit, Thomas, because I've met quite a few artists in my day, and some are a little temperamental, maybe not so nice. You're a nice guy, too, so talent and being nice, it's a good combination.
I'm trying. I'm a work in progress.
Well, you heard it from Thomas, okay? This is his favorite art show. Thomas, I've enjoyed my time with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for interviewing me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It is all about the art, and obviously this is really amazing artwork. Stop by Thomas Legault's booth here, and I know you'll enjoy it. Maybe you'll even pick up a piece for your home. With that being said, it's more than just the art. Don't get me wrong, the focus is the art, but there's also a few parties going on, and you've been invited. So what do you say? Let's pay him a visit. St. James Court is known for its beautiful homes, and when you combine that with a beautiful and gracious hostess, then that's the perfect combination for a great party. Cindy Rapp is with us now. Cindy, thank you for having us in your home.
No problem.
If this is absolutely gorgeous, and I would think that with a home like this, you probably love hosting people.
We do. We host a lot. We have a lot of parties, dinner parties, fundraisers, but that's all over the court. It's not just us.
Yeah, I've gathered that very quickly,
Yes,
Cindy. That people in this court like to party. True?
They do. Probably too much, you know.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, but with that being said, I think it's something in Louisvillians' DNA. We talk about how we're an event town, but as you know, part of making an event grander or bigger is the party, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the bourbon.
Yeah, very nice combination there.
Yeah.
Okay, you are also president of the St. James Court Association, right?
Correct.
Okay, what does that entail, Cindy?
Well, basically, our association is totally responsible for maintaining the grounds, the fountain, the gas lights, the sidewalks, the trees, which we have lost a lot in the last year. They're aging, and whenever we have a storm, they're falling over. And even Jack Harlow on his album has a cover of a tree that crushed one of the cars on St. James Court, his most recent album. No one was hurt.
All good.
The poor graduate student had to replace her car. So,
So tell me about the vibe that you've created here, because you have relationships not only with your neighbors and friends, but with the artists who come to this
Right.
big art show. So how did that all develop? Tell me about that.
well, when you have people that come back year after year and they're in front of your house, you serve them coffee, you let them use their bathroom, you get to know them, you feed them, and actually I've had parties where I've had artists come to the house after the art show. So.
See, it's people like you. I'm so glad that you're an ambassador for Louisville and live in this area, because this, as we talk to a lot of artists, they say, you know what's special about Louisville? It's the people. And it's people like you who welcome them into your home and
Right.
say, hey, you know, restroom, hey, here's a glass, whatever you need, a drink,
Yeah.
a hors d'oeuvre, whatever the case may be. Do you enjoy this?
Absolutely. You know, people say, how can you live on St. James Court? What about that art show? You can't go anywhere. You have to park, you know, your car and leave it there. And it's the best thing. We all look forward to it. And we're sad when it leaves. There's a sadness when all this is all gone. We see the tents dismantling, and you're just sad, you know.
Yeah, I can
You
understand
look
that.
forward to it for a year, and then it's gone.
And they look forward to seeing you as well.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to do a comparison here. I have a friend of mine who's an accountant. So, of course, he does my taxes.
Sure.
So I'm going to assume, because you have a lot of friends who are artists, that you may buy some of their work?
My house is full of their art. I
love
mean,
that.
full of it. And I'm not the only one. I mean, I have way too many St. James posters. I laugh because how many more St. James posters do you need, you know? But I have a lot.
So if you were to describe the St. James Court Art Show to someone who's never been before, and of course you're as close to it as anyone, you're right here in the heart of the court, how would you describe it?
I would say it's usually between #1 and #3 art show in the country, in one of the most beautiful locations in the United States. Seriously, I've been to art shows, Ann Arbor, all over the place. There's nothing like this neighborhood, with a canopy of trees, the gorgeous Victorian homes, the ambiance, you know, the cobblestone sidewalks, gas lamps.
Yes.
You're just not going to find that.
Yeah, I've always said that Louisville's a great place to raise adults. But when I show someone Louisville, you know, I want to take them to special places like St. James Court.
Sure.
For you, there is a special relationship with not just your neighbors, but with this whole beautiful area, correct?
We have people coming from all over the world walking down our sidewalk, and we talk to them when we're working in our yard. They're from all over, and they're amazed by this neighborhood. You know, they're from Philadelphia, and they're just stunned by it, and it's just a tourist attraction.
Yes. Cindy, you're a wonderful host. Thank you for being an ambassador for Louisville and for St. James Court.
I wouldn't like it any other way.
Okay, and we all think about the art, and of course there is beautiful art, and she has a lot of it in her beautiful home. With that being said, it's more than just art, paint, clay, whatever the case may be. Performing arts are included as well. Now you know why we all get so excited about the St. James Court Art Show. We hope you and your family make it an annual visit and enjoy it as much as we have. And if you don't mind, I'm going to do a little shopping. Can you show me a few of these?
Sure, how you doing?
Doing well. This is beautiful work.
Yeah, feel the weight of those.